but at the same time, when it's intense, it is like, it's pretty brutal. So I'm going to give my tanks here some orders to just sort of fire off whatever they have here. It looks like one of the artillery barrages have damaged the sort of the tank gun on this particular Churchill, and these will actually carry over inside the future battles. If we want to use this tank again, it'll sort of carry over that damaged gun, at least when it until it can be repaired, if it can be repaired. Right, so I'm gonna get my tanks to open up in this terrain, just sort of in general. Just sort of checking the info panel here. A lot of the troops on the ground are already sort of injured, rather incapacitated. So with that said, I'm seeing whether or not there are a few hidden troopers that I haven't sort of knocked out yet. It looks like there's one guy crawling over here. There's a few troops in here as well. And we'll, of course, we'll get these tanks to open up. I actually have a crocodile sort of tank. Ooh. Unfortunately, the Churchill that we have with the damaged gun has a perfect view into this sort of defile in the ground. Oh, and it looks like the Axis enemy sort of morale broke, and with that said, we managed to sort of nab a few victory locations because of that, but they didn't say completely break, so they didn't retreat off of this province, off of the map. And let's just sort of check the losses in that. Looks like we've taken, say, 5 losses, or 2 losses in sort of leaders, and sort of, say, 16 losses in killed and wounded troops, so that's not too bad. Now, I could be wrong about this, but wounded troops, I believe, do funnel back into your sort of active pool over time, but it's very, very slow, because just sort of the scale of these games, the time frame of these games mainly, and the fact that obviously some injuries are sort of non-fixable. And in addition, another cool thing is that troops will actually sort of level up, in a sense, on their statistics over here as time sort of goes on. Normally they'll only level up in morale and experience, but sometimes the other things change here and there. At least I believe the other things do change. In the previous games, sometimes some titles I think they didn't, some do. And one of the things here is that, yeah, when your troops take, say, wounded losses, their strength goes down very far. And it looks like this guy had 1 active cowardice, evidently. So that is sort of that. And this health meter here, it's not actually indicative of like the health sort of number of the people. You're kind of either dead, wounded, or not. So yeah, that is sort of that, and it looks like, yeah, this tank right here, the first Churchill in our group here, killed evidently a ton of people. The gunner and loader setup killed right around 10, and the other person inside there also nabbed 10. So very, very nice for a first battle. And effectively, I mean, once you finish one battle, it just advances you further down this list until you finish all the battles in the sort of battle resolution and phase of the game, effectively everywhere that you have combat, really. And then, of course, it just sort of repeats. You go back to the turn screen and you play through it again. So that's the general course of the game. I suppose we'll focus on the second battle here. Start this up. I'll go with a similar deployment again. And as you can see here, I usually like to use the sort of the zoomed out view for the big deployment things, and then I usually like to zoom in for the smaller, fine detailed things. So overall, I'd say that this would be a pretty easy battle, just like last time. So again, I'm going to keep most of my forces in reserve, and I'm going to send in the tanks first. These tanks over here, the Churchills, are actually horrendously heavily armored on the front. I think it's somewhere around 100 and... oh, they've sighted people immediately. I think they're right around 150 meters, and with that said, it is very, very hard to take down one of these Churchill tanks without a very heavy tank like a Panther or a Tiger or something, or like the 88s. So with that said, we can sort of charge these forwards, but at the same time, I mean, at the strategic level, of course, we do have a finite number of them, and obviously the sort of connotations behind that, of course, also apply here. So overall, I think what I'll do here is that this map actually isn't that open compared to the other one. There's a few, say, bocage areas over here. There's an apple orchard, so we will sort of have to move around those, if you will. I actually have a few of these Churchill crocodiles, and for those who probably know about these vehicles, these tanks actually have a flamethrower attached to them. That is actually sort of their secondary gun. They don't really have like a machine gun on the hull of the tank. They have this like little flamethrower thingy. So those things are actually also modeled in game, and hopefully we'll be able to see this tank grill up some Nazis, I guess, in a bit. Right, and over here, I think I'll just try to shift up my guys a bit more. Actually, you know what, I think... Oh! Yeah, looks like they are... the Germans have some view on us right now, and evidently they are taking to shelling us with mortars. And mortars inside this game are absolutely lethal. They are... they take right around, say, 20 to 30 seconds to set up, but once they start firing, they just barrage people. I mean, without these, like, if I couldn't take tank support here, I would actually probably take 3 mortars, because they are just wonderfully deadly, provided that they have ammunition. And come on, this tank should be turning its barrel. What is it doing here? Looks like the loader is assisting in something, and I'm just reading the little info panel here. Should be firing. There we go. Now it's rotating. Oh, what's happening here? It's aiming, it's firing, there we go. Right, so they'll try to grill up this sort of group. These guys are also in bocage. We can't see their defensive rating, but we can estimate fairly, like, you know, using common sense, that these guys probably have a high sort of defense rating from this angle, at least, from our tanks. So I think we'll try to send in the people from the back over here. I'm gonna get one of the rifle sections here, or actually both of these are Bren sections. So they're armed with a British MG. I'm gonna get them to sneak forward, and the sneak command effectively just sort of gets them on the ground and gets them to move forward like that. Ooh. And you see that the mortars are still sort of popping off. It looks like they managed to. Ooh. These guys really need to sort of unclump themselves, because they are attracting a lot of fire in a position that I thought the enemy couldn't see. So right, we'll pull those guys back. And over here, I want to see whether or not this area is safe. I'm going to get my guys to open up, see whether or not they can draw some fire, because I want to capture this VP, this objective zone right now. Oh. Looks like they're dropping some more of the sort of artillery on us. Gonna get my Churchills to try to rush through that zone. Ooh. Yeah, every single one of these squads will actually have a leader as well, as you've seen there. Looks like the Germans managed to pick off my leader, and they have a half track over here. Right, so our tanks are moving up. They will... Yes, they survived that barrage. They'll do their thing. Oh no, but one is, this one's actually immobilized by the firing or something. So perhaps one of the tracks on this tank has gone off. And I mean, overall, the battles just sort of go forward from here. I really want to show you guys the flamethrower tank, though. Gonna do something that probably isn't, say, like the best thing to do, but I want to just sort of charge this Churchill crocodile at the infantry clump that they see, and see whether or not they sort of burn everything over there to nothing. And these guys are... No, I think this squad is taking fire from somewhere else, not those bushes over there, so I'll get it to sort of hold up on firing. And I think I'll grab this Bren squad. I'm gonna get them to run over here. And I can use the shift buttons to sort of queue up commands, and I just want them to run over here, and I want to cap all of those objectives. Oh hey, that thing's dead. Oh, I think it's something's using flames. Not really sure if it can use its flamethrower from this range though. We'll see though. I think there's a few more guys, say just around the corner right there, which of course we can flame down here in just a second. Oh, perfect. More directly in front of our guys. There we go. Now it's burning. Oh, there are actually like soldier-equipped flamethrowers, and sometimes when your infantry shoot at them, they actually do burst out in flames. And I think, I'm not sure about this, but snipers will also prioritize those guys. And if they are actually clumped up, they'll cause an explosion. They'll like send like 3 or 4 people screaming while it's being on fire. It's kind of funny. Right, so my infantry squad's over here. I'm gonna check their vision again. I think they have one line of fire over here, so I'll get them to do their thing. I'm gonna get these infantry guys to use move commands. I'm just going to get them to effectively secure this area. Right, so it looks like the advance on this section of the map is going pretty well. I think these mortars can... Are they still firing? No, they're not. There we go. So get them to stop firing. Looks like the squads over here are taken out, but there's a few more guys defending the shallow bend over here. And we'll just clear them out accordingly. Now, the infantry squads over here should be moving. The spring sort of squad doesn't seem to want to move, though. See, there's something right there. Get that smoking. There we go. Yeah, unfortunately right now it's sort of difficult to see the casualty markers because beforehand they would always sort of have this like little bleeding animation. But yeah, usually, I mean, you can figure it out with the sound effects though. And sometimes you don't even see the guys, so I suppose you can only really base it off of those things. Oh. Oh. There we go. Right, so I think we've already grilled practically everything in the shallow bend area over here. Something is putting very accurate, sort of like high explosive shot ammunition on our guys over here though. Pretty sure it's not a mortar. Might be just to say slightly unattentive with this, but I'm not hearing any mortars. Yeah, looks like there's a close assault broadling it out with our Churchill Crocodile here. And unfortunately it was immobilized. It looks like there was like 1 or 2 more sort of guys hiding behind this bend over here. And unfortunately, when your armor units get, or rather vehicles in general, when they get close to the enemy, they'll have the sort of infantrymen have the opportunity to throw either, say, grenades or in some cases like Molotov cocktails on the Russian front games, at least on your guys. Unfortunately, one of them has sort of immobilized our Churchill Crocodile here. I mean, inside the campaign you do get reinforcements, and of course these like small things do get fixed as well over time. But sometimes, of course, you do indeed actually start off with the wounded forces. I'm gonna get my guys to clear this location though.
Area secured.
And we'll play on the normal difficulty, so I mean it shouldn't be that bad. Right, so over here, I think I'll get one of our squads to just not sneak, but fast move over here. Try to cap that location. And in the meantime, I want to figure out what is putting so much accurate fire on us. Oh, I see. It's these mortar... Well, no, they have mortar half-tracks. Let's see whether or not this thing will be smoked here in a second when our guys shoot at it. It's currently aiming something. It's aiming at something. And because it's sort of an indirect fire vehicle, it's gonna take like right around 20 seconds to do so. Now let's see. Churchill's reloading. There we go. And oh no, it looks like one guy managed to run away from the explosion. He did it pretty fast as well. Right, so I think that's enough firing going there. Looks like we captured the shallow bend, so that's good. And in the meantime, it's time to move our guys forward. Right, so let's get our guys and let's bound them forward. Let's try to capture these locations. Typically, what you'll notice is that when the enemy morale is sort of at the halfway point, yeah, they'll start to offer these sort of truces and all that, and it's a nice way to just sort of end the battles like very fast, but at the same time you don't get the victory sort of locations that demoralizing them and sort of making them finish off the battle like that does. So with that said, I want to try to force them into one of those deals if possible. I'm just gonna get our guys here to try their best to do so. Right, so I think this crocodile tank can slow down the firing. And one of the things that you could sort of do with the aiming is that despite having line of sight on, say, like one of these Panzer Grenadiers here, currently, because like you notice that there's a little sort of circle that goes over my mouse when I highlight over enemies, and that sort of tells you about the effectiveness of your weapon regarding these people at whatever range you're at and against whatever target you're at. So usually when it's good where yellow, it means that you have a decent sort of combat effectiveness, if you will. Oh, some ambushing pioneers right behind the bocage. I'm surprised our guys didn't see that before, but luckily they're in range, or at least hopefully they're in range of this crocodile. And yet you find those, you actually find a lot of these close combat situations in this game. So yeah. Try to fry these guys out. Hopefully the flame, if I like give the order here, when the flamethrower goes off, it'll just sort of go through everything. And now if, I could be wrong about this, but I think there was like one troop right there. Let's see whether or not we can pick that off. And right, these guys are moving forward over here as well. Oh, and some enemy troops have surrendered to us. Yay! Ooh, anti-tank gun over here. Right, so currently they're firing HE at my infantry. I'm going to get our guys to suppress them. And currently, because they're a little far away, they only have that yellow rating as opposed to the green rating. Right, so in general, inside the close combat series of games, any AT, or rather any sort of like cannon-based weapon, is horrendously powerful against the infantry. So with that said, you know what? I actually really hope that they keep firing on my infantry here. I want to knock out this AT gun using my Churchill because it has very heavy armor to the front, but at the same time I don't really want to rush it in there. I'm going to see whether or not we can just sort of fire on the side of it. And the main thing right now is that I want to use my infantry as sort of meat shields to sort of soak up whatever shots come out of that thing. Come on. Right, so, no, that hit slightly up on the road. Oh, there we go. So yay, that's another mission done sort of for today here. And yeah, their morale broke once more, so perhaps that last shot on that AT gun or something managed to clear them out. And of course we gained those extra victory locations or victory points. And once you sort of do this enough times, and again, these enemy sort of zones will be sort of capped off and they'll be sort of sent on to another portion of the map here. So overall, I'd say that we're making pretty good progress for now. We haven't taken, say, too many damages, although we are starting to get a few vehicles banged up, which is rather unfortunate. Right, so we'll move on to the third battle here, and, well, I think we'll take a break for now, and when we sort of come back, we will play a little bit more of combat, close combat. Gateway to Caen here. So, see you then, and be sure to like and subscribe with the sort of like the two buttons just below the video player if you haven't done so, because it does help me out quite a bit, as you might imagine. Till next time.